Hey everybody, John Skiba here from the Consumer Warrior YouTube channel, and in this video today we're going to talk about credit card debt. I'm recording this in January of 2023, and credit card debt is one of the most searched YouTube search terms in the nation right now. In fact, you may have looked up credit card debt in the search for that on YouTube, and that's why you're finding me, is because a lot of people have that on their mind because there's so much overwhelming credit card debt right now in the country. I'm going to share with you how you can deal with that, how a bankruptcy will impact that, and how it will impact your ability to get credit cards in the future. But if this is your first time here to my YouTube channel, please go ahead, click subscribe, check on that little bell. That way you'll be notified each and every week when I put out new videos that'll help you deal with your serious debt issues. So I'm a bankruptcy attorney in the state of Arizona, and so I kind of monitor these things like credit card debt. I've noticed that there's been a lot of articles on it that say that credit card debt, the amount of credit card debt that Americans are carrying is higher than at any other time. Even before, last recession, 2008, 2009, there's a huge amount of credit card debt that most people are carrying, which becomes worrisome, for the economy as a whole, but to individuals as well, just because so much of your monthly income is going to pay off monthly minimums on credit cards instead of being able to help you to save for retirement, savings, all that kind of stuff. So the first thing I want to talk about is what happens when you stop paying your credit cards. Credit cards are unsecured debts. That's why the interest rates are so high on them, because if you stop paying on them, truthfully, other than damage your credit, there's not a whole lot they can do to you initially. They can be annoying. They can start calling you, sending you snotty letters in the mail, that kind of stuff. But they can't really take anything from you, at least initially. The normal collection cycle is that for the first 30 to 90 days that you go past due, they'll start doing some internal collections, calling you on the phone a lot, just trying to see if there's something they can do to help you get the loan or the credit card payments back on track. If that's not effective, then they may engage an outside collection agency who will also do those types of things. Letters, phone calls, try to ramp up the pressure to try to get some type of payment agreement in place. However, once you go 180 days, a full 6 months without making a credit card payment, by law, the credit card company is required to charge off the credit card debt. Now, one of the things I get the most hate comments for on my YouTube channel is that I've done a couple of videos talking about the fact that a credit card company charges off the debt does not mean that they still can't try to collect on it. If you don't believe me, try it out. They will not only continue to do collections, but they will often sue you, or in most cases, they sell the debt to a third-party junk debt buyer who will then do some internal collections and then likely sue you in the future. So the charge-off is just an internal tax classification for the creditor where they're saying this is a loss on their books, and it's a tax thing. It's not something that affects their ability to collect it or even to sell it to a third-party junk debt buyer. So once it gets to that point, either the creditor files suit or the junk debt buyer will file suit. And the reason they're doing that is because they're trying to get a judgment against you. They want to go to court, sue you, serve you with a complaint and summons, get a judgment, because once they have a judgment, they can do things like wage garnishment and bank levy, where they can forcibly take money out of your bank or have a portion of your wages turned over each and every paycheck. That's why they're doing that, is because without the judgment, like I said, they can damage your credit score, but they can't do a whole lot else as far as actually taking things from you. So that's kind of the process if you're unable to pay your credit cards, what you can expect. And I can tell you it's a lot longer process than most people think. You can get annoying collection calls on that pretty quickly. That happens as soon as you go 30 days past due. But it's something sometimes those lawsuits aren't filed for several years after the account goes into default. Something you have to check as well is if it's outside the statute of limitations. In every state, there is an amount of time the creditor has to file a lawsuit against you, and if it goes too long, they're not going to be able to do it. For example, here in Arizona, if it's been in default for more than 6 years, then they're barred forever from trying to collect on it. So most of them, though, will take action before that period expires for the statute of limitations, and that's why we want to talk about the next option as far as how bankruptcy helps you when you're dealing with overwhelming credit card debt. A Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which is the chapter that most people file overwhelmingly that go through this process, does a couple things. One, as soon as you file that case with the court, the bankruptcy court will issue an order that stops all collections against you. They can't call you anymore. They can't sue you. They can't send you snotty letters. They can't garnish you. They can't do anything. Everything stops as soon as you file for bankruptcy. Not only that, credit card debt in almost all cases will be completely eliminated or discharged through this process. So the typical Chapter 7 takes about 4 to 5 months for the court to process. At the end, you get a discharge order that's signed by your judge. That eliminates any legal responsibility you have on those particular credit cards. They go away completely. Now, the only time where you have any risk of a credit card debt not going away is if you have a bunch of charges within the immediate 70 to 90 days prior to filing. And those charges typically have to be either cash advances or you bought what the court considers a luxury item. Now, the Bankruptcy Code doesn't define what a luxury item is. However, the courts have said things like gas, groceries, those types of things are not luxury items. And even if you purchase those on your credit cards within that 90-day window, those debts would still likely go away. It's also important to know that that's kind of a rare thing, or there's any type of objection made to charges that happened within that 90-day window, because the creditor themselves has to raise the objection to the court. It's not something where the court just says, well, you used the credit card in the last 90 days, that's not going to go away. That's not what it is. They actually have to, the creditor has to come in and file a formal objection to those specific charges going away. I can tell you in almost 20 years of doing this, I've had that happen one time, and it was for a very egregious case where there was over $20,000 in charges that were made within 30 days prior to filing bankruptcy. Long story, but even there we were able to resolve that issue and get most of it eliminated. So hopefully that gives you some idea. If you're dealing with a lot of credit card debt, like a lot of Americans are right now, the bankruptcy process is a valuable and a powerful tool for eliminating that debt, allowing you to move forward in life without having to worry about the whole collection process, which, like I said, can take years to work its way through, and then you risk wage garnishment, bank levy, that kind of thing. If you're in the state of Arizona and you want to go over your specific case, I do free consultations. My contact information is below this video. I'm happy to go over that and discuss kind of the pros and cons and whether bankruptcy is a good option for you. And surprising to a lot of people, there are situations where I tell people bankruptcy is not a good option, and then we can discuss other options to get rid of the debt as well. Thanks for watching today.